Intergenerational inequality in housing. This is the narrative versus reality. And the phrase sounds right, the solution does not. Intergenerational equality has become the buzz phrase driving Australia's housing policy conversation. It sounds fair, logical, maybe even overdue. Older generations bought early, benefited from decades of growth. Younger generations face higher entry prices, they struggle to get into the housing market. But while the problem is real, the solution being proposed doesn't actually address the cause. Hello everyone, I'm Kate Hill, and if you are ready to build real wealth through smart, no-nonsense property decisions, you are in the right place. Let's get on into it. We are looking at the intergenerational inequality in housing. So let's be clear, this is not new. It has always been the case. Every generation that has bought earlier benefited from long-term growth, had an advantage allegedly over the next one. The difference today is that the gap has widened. So what has actually changed? Investors haven't changed. Tax policy, well, it's going to change, but it didn't change. Supply constraints. Australia's housing system is being squeezed by restricted land releases, very slow planning approvals, infrastructure bottlenecks, labour shortages, rising construction costs. None of this is meaningfully solved in the current policy settings. What the government says it's doing: reduce investor tax incentives, limit competition for first home buyers, redirect investment into new housing. The problem is it targets the wrong lever. Reducing investor demand does not create more housing or lower construction costs or speed up approvals. It reshuffles who is competing for the same amount of limited stock. If you are finding this helpful, hit subscribe and I will share lots of strategies and insights to help you grow your long-term wealth through smart property investing. And here is the part that everyone is ignoring in property. Investors are the supply of rental housing. 30% of Australians rent. If investor participation drops, rental supply tightens and rents will increase. The ownership assumption is also outdated. I'm finding this all the time. A growing number of younger Australians value flexibility, they work remotely, they move frequently, and this creates a structural shift towards long-term renting. They need and want stable rental supply. The investor redirection myth. Investors won't simply shift to new builds. They are going to assess their risk, certainty, feasibility, their budget. Many will step back entirely. They will redirect into a whole new asset class. The retirement system, again, that no one is really talking about. Australia relies on private property investment for retirement income. Discouraging property investors will increase long-term pressure on pensions. And who's going to pay for that? So the political reality: Australia is a property-owning democracy, or at least we were. Policies are designed to appear impactful without driving major price declines. And then there's the mandate problem. These are structural changes. They were not clearly put to voters before the election. In fact, it was the opposite. They promised us they were not going to touch these policies. And why? Because the last time they tried this, it didn't work. The last time they took this to 2 separate elections, it didn't work. These were not changes clearly put to voters before the election. If you're going to reshape Australia's largest asset class, then that conversation should happen before an election, not snuck in afterwards. So what is really happening here? It's not about fixing affordability, I assure you. It's about changing who gets access to housing without solving the supply problem. And the bottom line, intergenerational inequality is real. But targeting investors does not fix it. Reshuffling demand doesn't solve it. Ignoring supply guarantees, it continues. Until supply changes, nothing else meaningfully will. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you are serious about building wealth through well-researched and smart property decisions. Stick around, have a watch of some other videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.